YTPC Padre coming to you via the virtual airwaves of YouTube to say, hello YouTube Pipe community, I hope you are doing well. I hope you're finding all the blessings that the Lord has in store for you. Wanted to take to the virtual airwaves today. I'm recording this on Friday. I don't think I'm going to get it up until Saturday, but that's okay. It's not necessarily time dependent in any sort of way. I'm thrilled to talk to you about a couple of things. Number one, I'm blessed and privileged that this cover of BRTV Guide, well, it's me. It's not really me. I mean, it's pieces of me. It's my collar and my prayer beads, my pipe, my Book of Common Prayer, my BRTV mug, my tobacco, etc. And you can see somewhere on here, where does it say it? There it is. Padre Piper, Renaissance Man, page 10. And a wonderful little write-up. Thank you to Phil and all the good folks over at BriarReport.com, BriarReport.org, and of course, BRTV. I'm also happy because, again, I'm recording this on Friday. You guys know I've been a little under the weather this past week. Pardon me, I'm going to clear my throat. I know this is so rude. But my editing skills are horrible, so I'm not even going to bother to edit that out. I'm feeling better, and it feels good to feel better. Am I 100% yet? I don't think so. And normally, I would probably take one more day off from the old Piperooski, but because Mark VV is going to be coming over here and we're going to be recording video number 3 in our series for BRTV's exclusive content entitled Smoking Through the Sampler, as we tackle the 7 blends that are in the Boswell's English sampler. I'm gonna go ahead and enjoy a bowl with him this evening. I don't know which blend we're going to do yet. I think it's going to be mild English, but I'm not sure. Meanwhile, on Saturday, which is when I think I'm going to get this posted, the video number 2 will be up on BRTV. So go to BriarReport.org, click on BRTV, go to my channel, Padre Piper, and you can watch videos 1 and 2 of Smoking Through the Sampler. Video 1, we did Countryside, did our tasting notes on that, and video 2 was on Northwoods. So there's that. Now, the topic of this particular video is how to lose your peace. How to lose your peace. Well, that implies that you've had some peace that you can lose, and I'm telling you what, you do. You do. This, you know what, I know that this will speak to believers, particularly those of the Christian ilk. I don't want you to tune out yet if that's not you, because I think that this is grounded enough in just understanding human nature that this will speak to you regardless of any sort of religious or theological beliefs that you may or may not hold. The fact of the matter is, we do all desire peace in our life, right? Because why? Well, you know, there's that sort of thing that we're made. This I'm going to call it a spirit or soul, that intangible quality of us, right? You call it anything you want. You want to call it a personality, whatever, right? There's something that's in this bag of bones. I happen to believe that the bag of bones won't last forever. And I don't think there's anybody who can deny that. I happen to also believe, because of my theological and spiritual grounding, that intangible thing I was just talking about, that lives on for forever. And you may disagree with me on that. But that's the peace, the P-I-E-C-E, the chunk of us that is desiring the P-E-A-C-E, the peace, that sort of feeling of all is going to be all right. Now I want to talk to you about how to lose it. I was watching a fantastic video by a member of our community, YTPC member, Northwest pipe smoker. I just love this guy's videos. You know, I don't even know his first name. He typically starts his videos just talking. There's no intro to it or anything. He's so charming. His voice is hypnotic. I just love watching his videos. And a few weeks ago, he had one entitled, oh, let me see if I can remember what it was now. This moment is all we have. I may be paraphrasing this. This moment is all we have. Everything else is in our minds. And boy, there is a lot. And I'm going to build. I'm stealing that from him. Thank you, my friend. I hope you don't mind. I'm going to build on it a little bit. So many of us lose our peace because we fail to live in the moment. We fail to genuinely accept that what's going on right now is something that we can be a participant in. So when we're so worried about what's going to happen in the future, or we're so stuck in our head about what has happened to us in the past, then we're outside of in some ways, the realm of existence, in some ways, because this moment is really all that this bag of bones and this spirit really have. And we get ourselves caught up in being in these negative emotions, right? There's anger, there's sadness, there's fear, there's I guess worry is really on that same spectrum with fear. That's kind of the triad of negative emotions, right? Anger and fear. What was the third one I said? I still got cold medicine head. It's irrelevant. You get what I'm saying. There's this stuff. If we're worried about what happened to us yesterday, and then we're going through our mind, and we're losing time at the moment, because like, wow, what I should have said to them when they told me blah 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 was blah blah blah, and we're fighting this war in our head that's over. And a lot of times when we're fighting those kinds of wars in our head, the person that we're fighting in our mind, they weren't even at war at us in the first place. We just misinterpreted something that they said, and we allowed it to make us angry. Or we allowed ourselves to be saddened by something that maybe they didn't intend to even hurt our feelings with. Or future focused, we worry, we obsess, we ruminate over what's going to happen. And again, I guess that's the three. The fear and worry is one, the sadness, hurt is another, and the anger is the third. And they're really kind of all three just different sides of the same coin. I know coins don't have three sides, but if you could picture a three-sided coin. And so we lose our peace, as Northwest Pipe Smoker was alluding to. Right now, this is all we've got, this very moment. This is reality of our existence, okay? And when we're caught in the past, then we're caught in our mind. When we're worried about the future, then we're still caught in our mind. And either way, you know, it's like this kind of upside down triangle, right? This corner over here is the past, this one over here is the future, and we're missing out, and what we need to do is flip that up. You know, and this needs to be the point of it all, this moment that we're in right now. I want to read to you one of my favorite authors is a guy named C.S. Lewis. You've probably heard of him. If you haven't, that's okay. C.S. Lewis was a prolific 20th century author. He wrote fiction and nonfiction alike. C.S. Lewis, this is really kind of cool, was an atheist for a long time. He was actually friends with, I was going to say drinking buddies, and they go to bars and pubs together where they would drink and smoke their pipes together. C.S. Lewis was friends with J.R.R. Tolkien. Tolkien actually brought C.S. Lewis to faith in Christ. And they kind of got into it a little bit and didn't talk for a little while because J.R.R. Tolkien was a Roman Catholic. And when C.S. Lewis became a Christian, he became an Anglican. And so that upset J.R.R. Tolkien, as I understand it. And they made up, and they were fine later on. But J.R.R. Tolkien wanted him to be Roman Catholic, and he chose to be an Anglican. Choose to be an Anglican instead, which I say, good for him. He had good taste and faith. Anyway, C.S. Lewis wrote a ton of books, and his best known one is probably Mere Christianity. If you're a Christian, you haven't read that, I highly recommend it. One of my favorites, though, is something called the Screwtape Letters. Well, where is it written there? Screwtape Letters. The way the Screwtape Letters is written, it's a fictional account. The characters are fictional, although they represent something real, right? The writer of the each chapter is a letter. The writer of the letter is a demon. His name is Screwtape, and he's kind of a highly placed, heavy-duty demon. Like, he's been around. He knows what he's doing, and he's writing in a sense to mentor his nephew, whose name is Wormwood. And Wormwood is young. Wormwood is kind of kind of dopey, right? He's still learning his way around the world and such. And so Wormwood receives these letters, chapter at a time, letter at a time, from his uncle Screwtape. And Screwtape is trying to give him some encouragement and some mentorship on how to win souls for the devil. And it's just a fascinating read. Just to give you some nomenclature, because I'm about to read you a couple of sentences from it, which I think you're going to enjoy. When they refer to the patient is it's just a man. It's just a person that the demon, it's a euphemism, I guess, for the person that demon was assigned to sort of go after and try to get. This was written in 1942, so World War II, right? And to just give you that kind of backdrop to it. And this is from chapter 6. Listen how it opens up. Again, this is under the theme of how to lose your peace, right? My dear Wormwood, this is Uncle Screwtape writing this to his nephew, the demon, the younger demon. My dear Wormwood, I am delighted to hear that your patient's age and profession make it possible, but by no means certain, that he will be called up for military service. We want him to be in the maximum uncertainty, so that his mind will be filled with contradictory pictures of the future, every one of which arouses hope or fear. If you don't believe in the devil, that's okay. But if there were a devil, don't you think that's exactly how he'd operate? That he would want to torment creatures of God. Well, he's technically a creature of God too, but why do I say that? All right, let me sidebar for a moment. In Christian theology, Satan and his demons are fallen angels. All right, so they were created by God. They rebelled against God, and they were cast out of the heavenlies. So if they're to try and win souls for what Wormwood refers to as our Father below, that's the head devil, that's Satan himself, this is what they would do. This is how they would torment you. If God has said, I give you my peace I leave with you. I do not give it as the world gives, so do not be afraid. Take heart, I've overcome the world. If that's the kind of peace God wants to give you, don't you think the devil would work against that? That would be the one thing he could really get into humans on. How would he do that? Just what we're talking about, getting you caught up in stuff in the past, worried about stuff in the future. We want him, remember, he's the Uncle Screwtape is delighted that Wormwood's patient he could very well be called up to go to a fight in World War II. I'm delighted to hear your patient's age and profession make it possible, but by no means certain that he will be called up for military service. You see the uncertainty in there? He loves that. That's anxiety provoking. We want him to be in the maximum uncertainty, so that his mind will be filled with contradictory pictures of the future, every one which arouses hope or fear. Having hope and fear fighting against each other. That's exactly how Satan wants you to lose your peace. There's nothing like suspense and anxiety for barricading a human's mind against the enemy. Now, if you're not familiar with this writing and you're a Christian, you might think of the enemy as the devil. In this case, the devil's writing it, so the enemy, of course, is God. There's nothing like suspense and anxiety for barricading a human's mind against God. That's what the devil says in C.S. Lewis's writings, the Screwtape Letter. And I know, again, some of you said some of you might not believe in a devil and such, and I'm not here to try and convince you otherwise. I'm just a guy who's not yet enjoying a pipe this afternoon, just talking to you. But it's funny because in chapter 7, I think it is, I marked it, it's chapter 7, the 7th letter that Screwtape writes to Wormwood, he addresses that about, he goes to this thing about, hey, through the centuries, sometimes we've made ourselves known so that humans really know that we exist as demons. Other times we've kind of laid low, we let them wonder. And he goes to explain to him, we're at a period in the time of the history of the world where right now, we're kind of laying low. And here's what he says. I do not think you will have much difficulty in keeping the patient in the dark about what? About the existence of the demons, right? The fact that, in quotes, devils are predominantly comic figures in the modern imagination will help you. If any faint suspicion of your existence begins to arise in your patient's mind, suggest to him a picture of something in red tights and persuade him that since he cannot believe in that, it's an old textbook method of confusing them, he therefore cannot believe in you. Again, isn't that exactly how the devil would operate if the devil were real? I happen to believe the devil is evil personified. Yeah. So you may not, but you know what? Believe it or not, you probably want peace. And what I can tell you is, I think old Northwest Pipe Smoker and old C.S. Lewis and the authors of the Bible, those men who penned the words that God gave them, I think they all were talking about sort of the same thing, that we all desire peace. We don't want to lose our peace. And as Northwest Pipe Smoker so wisely said, this is the moment that we have. I'm paraphrasing. I won't put words in his mouth, but this is the moment of reality. The past is in our mind. That's where it exists. That's the only place it can exist, the way that we exist in this thing we're calling life right now. The future is also in our mind, and so it's only in this moment. The rest of it it's just in our mind. Don't lose your peace. I think it's so important, especially this time of the year. We're heading into the holidays, the holy days. It's easy for people to get so caught up in, running this way, running that way. If you're a Christian, let me encourage you, don't fall prey to the presents, presents, the gifts. Focus on the presence, the presence, the presence of God in your life. Slow down, step back in this moment. Experience the presence of Christ in your life. He wants to bless you. He broke through humanity to become God incarnate 2,000 years ago, Christian. Emmanuel, the Bible tells us it means God with us. God did that. He literally condescended, came down to earth to be with us, to live with us, to live like us, to hurt like us. The only thing different was he did it sinlessly. He lived the perfect life, fulfilling all the qualities of the law that we couldn't. And then he became the sacrificial atoning sacrifice for our sins. Because we need that. We need something pure and spotless to give us standing before a most holy God. That's the gospel. I didn't really want to preach today, but it walked its way into the picture here. Whatever your beliefs are, I want you to find peace, especially during this holiday season. Padre, wishing you and yours God's peace, grace, and blessings.